We're here today for the Algoma basketball show with veteran Nick Gehlen, Coach Etienne Jacquet, and Kevin Hemsworth. How's everybody today?
Doing good.
Doing well, Jay.
Push the show a little bit just because of we wanted to see the snowbirds fly over Sault Ste. Marie, get us outside after 50 days indoors. Nick, did you get a chance to see him?
No, I didn't get to see it. I just saw like the post this morning about it, so I didn't really get the chance to. So that kind of sucks, but it's all right.
I think maybe just an American who doesn't want to go and watch our Canadian planes, Coach?
Maybe that's what it is.
No, you know what? I was thinking about it, and it's not as big a deal in the U.S. because they do flyovers every football game, every whatever, right? So I think and I'm not trying to say this about Nick, but I think it's a little bit more commonplace there than it is here. I think I've seen the snowbirds maybe once, possibly twice in my lifetime. That might be the third time, so that's kind of cool.
And it was, and like you, Kev, you said we flew over twice down there, and we're in the west end of Sault Ste. Marie, and we got it 4 times, and they're amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Now, Coach, if you could get your players in sync like the planes, you'd be at top of your standings, wouldn't you?
Definitely. Some of the aerial assaults and the movements that they're doing in the air is incredible. Hopefully we can start doing some stuff in the air like that as well in the basketball court, alley-oops and stuff. Nick's going to be the recipient of some of those, so, we'll prepare and prepare a little show for us.
I like Nick's face there, like, what?
I'll need to get some springs first, but I'll see.
I've seen you get up there, Nick. I've seen you get to the rim.
And some before we get right in talking to Nick and that, Coach, just one question. We were talking about recruiting off air and that, and how's that going? But also the NCAA and the NAIA released about the SATs and that. Can you talk a little bit about how, if that's going to impact your recruiting at all, and explain to what's happening there?
Oh yeah, definitely. In terms of our recruiting, possibly last recruit, I got a verbal commit, so we're gonna get that probably settled in the next few weeks. In terms of the NCAA and the NAIA kind of removing their for this year, removing their restriction in terms of the SAT testing, it allows a lot more kids to be eligible to go out and play, which means if you have an offer right now, you're going to have a lot of different players becoming eligible now to play at university levels at the NCAA and the NAIA. That's for basically every sport due to COVID-19. In terms of recruiting, for me, it doesn't change too much. We're basically almost done. But then again, you always keep an eye on it because some guys that may have had an offer, all of a sudden they're replaced, and then they're going to be looking for a place to play. So you kind of keep your eye open and make sure you can kind of see if something could be productive for your program.
And Nick, I know you're a veteran with Algoma, but we'll do a hypothetical here. Being an American, if this was you're going into your first year, would that change your mind about coming to Canada? Not against Algoma, but would that change your mind at all?
I think for guys like in that situation right now, it like for if I was in that situation with all the offers I had, I think I would still pick here just due to like the circumstances of like how good the league I felt was for the offers I had. And that's just for me, but I feel like a lot of other people now, like it's going to be a lot more competitive for spots. So they might have to start looking at different schools and different offers and kind of figuring out what's like even more what's best for them. Like, and yeah, it's a tough situation. Thankfully I don't have to make that decision really. So
you're lucky you already have me, Coach.
Yes, definitely. I'm lucky we have him already.
So Kev, I'll turn it over to you, and I'll talk again near the end. So go ahead, Kev.
Yeah, thanks, Jay. So Nick, I started off with Coach last week, but I'm gonna go to you because you mentioned something, and I think it's important, and maybe you can talk a little bit more about it. But on the recruitment side of things, you were recruited at a high school by different programs, and you see younger kids, and they get kind of dazzled by the big lights and the big program, and the big program wants to talk to you. And they get excited about that, but that's not always the best decision for a player, for a student. There's a lot of aspects, a lot of different things to think about, and what's best for the player. And those are your words. You said, what's best for the individual, right? And so maybe you could talk just a little bit about that thought process that you went through in choosing to come to Algoma and play.
Well, for me personally, I didn't really even play much in high school. So just the fact that I had a bunch of offers was like outstanding to me. So like I was getting recruited by like D3 schools and JUCOs, and then I was on a recruiting website, and then that's how my old coach found me. And I just did as much research as I could about each schools and went on visits. And then you just got to kind of figure out where you see yourself academically, if you're comfortable being far away from home, which I was. So, and then just basketball wise, like I think a lot of kids nowadays think they're just automatically going to come to a team and just be the guy like they were in high school. And like they forget it's kind of like reset, like you're at the bottom of the totem pole again. Like you have to work twice as hard. Like these guys were all the guys in high school. They were all the MVPs of their team. Like, so you got to kind of be accepting like that's probably the likelihood that you're going to be coming to a team. And it's like for my first year, it's like you're just kind of just learning. You're on the bench, just trying to pick up things, just trying to adapt your game. And you just got to, end of the day, make a choice that you just feel that's right in your heart. I mean, that's what I did, and it's worked out so far.
Awesome. Yeah, no, thanks for that. Now you mentioned MVPs. You were talking high school, but just this past season, you were the recipient of the Most Valuable Player Award here at Algoma. So congratulations on that achievement. Maybe I'll jump over to Coach and say, Coach, what how much of a no-brainer was this? I know that there was some competition on the floor between some of your guys, and I mean healthy competition. So how hard was that decision to pick Nick as your MVP this past season?
Nick has been the most consistent guy that we had this year. When we started, it didn't look like that's what would happen, but then over the course of the year, him being open-minded, learning and wanting to get better, definitely it made the decision easy. I mean, he changed really this year, and if you go back and look at our early games and watch him play, and then you look towards the end of the year and the way he was playing, he was a different man, and he got much better, and he was able to keep a level of consistency throughout the season while getting better. So, which is good for us, and we felt it was the best guy on our team. So, the MVP of the season.
Yeah, thanks for that, Coach. And Nick, maybe you could take a minute and just talk about what winning that MVP award this past season means to you.
I think it's just a reflection of the work I've put in for the past couple of years being here, and just like the time in the gym and just the time learning and trying to evolve my game to where it is. But for a player like me now, like it sounds bad to say like I don't really care about winning the MVP, because like at the end of the day, like I just want to win. So that's just been my whole thing. Like it's like, yeah, I got the MVP, but now I'm like trying to take the next step and be like, how can I be a guy to make our team just win overall? Because even if I'm not the best guy or the MVP guy, I just want to be part of a team that just we all work hard and we just do the right things and be part of a team that pushes us into playoffs and just make great things happen.
Yeah, and so maybe you could talk about this past season. So congratulations to you on the MVP, but a tough season in the wins and loss column. So maybe you could talk a bit about that and how difficult that is for you, and how you see the team overcoming that.
Well, this year it was tough because it's just we only returned like 5-6 guys, right? So just having a bunch of new guys come in, they're kind of like I talked about before, like they're all coming in, they're hungry, they want minutes, they're trying to figure everything out. So everything just gets a little like sporadic, and then especially coaches coming in new too. So I have to kind of like take a step back, talk with coach, see what he wants to do with the team, like the system and everything. So which just it takes time, and sometimes it just like it would get me frustrated, and the frustration would come out. But like it's just trying to build up a rapport with teammates, and just kind of like we had a reset from everything before. But overall, I think we did get better over the course of the year, even though our wins and losses didn't like reflect it. Because you just look at the last couple of games we played, like against Guelph and stuff. Like we're right there with teams that are playoff teams, and I don't think anybody really expected us to be like that at the start of the season, to be in games and actually competing as good as we did, especially with coach recruiting with like the last couple weeks. Like, he only had like 2 weeks to recruit. So I think that's just a testament to what he did all year and how hard some of the guys on our team worked. And I'm just excited to continue that into next season and see what we can do.
Excellent. And coach, you've talked before about that short window that you had from a recruiting perspective, and then also from a team gelling perspective. We haven't really talked too much. Mike and I did on air a little bit, but we haven't talked about here how tough that first part of your schedule was, and getting on the road and facing some pretty top ranked opponents in the fall. Maybe you can talk about all of those things and how a veteran like Nick helped to help you through that time.
Well, the start of the season that we had a really the schedule was loaded. Our front part of the schedule was really loaded. We had 2 weeks to recruit, and some of these guys, they're almost like, hey, I didn't get recruited, let me start eating donuts and relax. And they came with bellies and out of shape. And so some of these guys, they're like, coach, I didn't pick up a basketball in a little while. I'm like, hey, listen, man, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. We're all gonna have to come in and get this going in the next 2 weeks. Well, 2 weeks is a lot, actually. It was really 10 days. So we really got 10 days to get going. And then I'm looking down the schedule. I'm like, oh my God. We started off with York, which was pretty strong the year before. Then we had we had Western, and we kept going. And then we had Carleton and Ottawa back to back to back to back to back. So when I was talking with the coaching staff, I was like, listen, let's try and see. Let's try to surprise. Let's try to get the first one. They haven't seen us play. They haven't seen the system and everything else. And then let's try to do our best with the young guys. And really, it hurt us because we had to play so hard and we lost so many guys along the way that it really it changed how it was supposed to be. I feel how the season was supposed to look. When you go in and then right away we lost like Damien right away, like right there. Then one of the veterans, one of the guys that could actually come out and contribute, and then it kept going along those lines. It was tough. It was really, really tough that early part of the season. We had some veterans, though, that had experience. They were able to kind of help us out. Definitely Nick was able to help us out. But at one point, I kind of made the decision that, hey, listen, if I start putting too much pressure on these veterans, then we're not going to be able to make it. So I kind of took Nick back and said, hey, Nick, listen, this is what you need to do to you actually get better. And at one point, we're all going to be better, and you're going to be in a position where you're going to need to bring us to the promised land. So let's take a step back, because I know you want to play a certain way, but that's not the way we need to play to be successful. And then once he started kind of having an open mind about it, he got better. He got definitely better. And Nick really helped in that department. I got to say, there was some games, Nick was coming in, and I can remember, I think it was Carleton, and we're playing a very good game. Nick, I think you put 23, 24 that day. And then he started kind of understanding, like, okay, you can score in a certain manner in this league. And he kept learning and he got better. So the start of the season was tough, but definitely it was good for us, because then we were able to learn and then get better over the year.
Yeah, and one of the things that we noticed as the season went on, and when I talked to Nick in one of our pregame chats, back during the season. I mentioned this to him, and I'm gonna come back to it because we had Vince Filardo on the show a few weeks back, and he talked a little trash about competing with you, Nick, and I know you guys have developed a relationship over the course of the season. That was one of the fun things that I know Mike and I talked about on air, as well as the shift from you and Vince kind of subbing each other in and out to you and Vince on the floor working together at the same time. And so we've already talked about that, but maybe you could talk about your relationship with Vince and since all this happened, and are you guys staying in touch and trash talking each other over text messages, or how's that going?
Not really any trash talking. We're just staying in contact here and there. I see, like, because like we do like reports and stuff, and like I see him, like he's putting in like a bunch of work. Like I know he's doing everything he can to get better for next year, and like just seeing that and seeing all the stuff he does and all the extra stuff that he does, it just is like, okay, yeah, like he is like he's an important piece for us, because all these young guys are going to be seeing him and seeing that, like, hey, this is what you have to do if you want to be successful. Like, and it's not just like just coming out on the court and just, oh, you're just going to magically like just be okay. Like, you have to put in time elsewhere. So that's good. And yeah, we're just, maybe I'll have to throw a little trash talk in there to spice it up a little bit, but we'll see. We'll see what happens when the year starts.
Nick, you're a pretty quiet guy. I see you around the gym, and it's tough to get a word out of you sometimes. But then I see you on the court, and that switch goes, and you get fired up. So that's always fun to watch too. You talk about preparing and the other things you need to do, and what keeps you motivated and in the gym. You're in the gym all the time. For those of you who don't know. I very rarely set foot in the GLC and don't see Nick Gehlen. So he's either helping out coaching in the 705 league, or he's lifting weights, or he's working out, he's shooting hoops, always. So how do you stay motivated to do that? And how do you see yourself in that leadership role, motivating, leading by example?
Well, my goal ever since I first touched the ball back in third grade was I want to be a pro basketball player. And first off, it was, I want to make it to the NBA. But as you get older, you kind of, I'm a little more realistic about it now. Like, probably not going to make it to the NBA, but it's still a goal that I have. And it's one of the first things I told Coach when he got here. I said, like, hey, my goal is I want to be an all-star. I want to be all Canadian, and then I want to take the steps and make it to the pro level, and like just trusting in him that he's going to help me get to that level. And I just do whatever it takes. Like, I'm going to him 24/7 about film, like every week after every game, like almost the next day I'm on coach's door, like can we watch film? I want to know what I do, what did I do last game, and like how can I get better, and like what do we need to work on this week. And that's just the goal I've had my whole life, and everything I've been through is to get there, and I just gotta keep all the adversity with me and just push through.
Awesome. And I know tape is important, and we talked last week about the game tape and the coach tape, right, Coach? You had your first coach tape session last week. How'd that go?
Oh, on my end, well, it went pretty well. I put a bunch of different links for the guys to kind of take a look at and kind of understand. There's certain things that there's certain language that we use. So I kind of sent a link on that about the language, but also kind of introduce them and reintroduce them to like how important the details are. Talking about our finish elite in an elite manner, understanding how important it is to come in basically in the four major aspect of mentally, physically, technically, and tactically understand what you need to do to be successful. So we kind of send them some links about that and just encouraging them to take care of their bodies and doing the right things. And, it went well. I felt there was a lot of feedback. A lot of the guys were coming back and saying, man, I had no idea like basketball could be so detailed. I said, hey, that's what it is. That's how the game is. And I feel like that's the one part that was kind of missing. I would say from last year, we didn't have the time to kind of, take our time and say, hey, listen, this is important and this is why it's important. Just a simple thing as running. There's a lot of things we talk about running, and guys are like, running, coach. Yeah, there's ways to take our steps. There's ways to get ready to accelerate. So these little things, you got to take the time to kind of explain it to them, to let them understand why we're doing these things, and then they get better. They get much better.
Yeah, footwork is critical in basketball, and you're right. If you don't practice it and develop it when you're younger, if you miss that somewhere along the way because you didn't have a coach who was looking at those fundamentals and things like that, then it's just fun to hear you talk about it at this level, going back to teach you guys how to run. So that's kind of neat. Maybe I know Jay's probably going to ask this question, so I'm going to beat him to it. But maybe, Coach, an update on where we are in terms of being able to get back into the gym, and coming out of this COVID-19 lockdown, isolation, whatever you want to call it, quarantine. What has there been anything communicated to you about steps to get back on the floor and what the fall might look like?
Okay. At this present moment, I don't have any changes. We're supposed to have a meeting on Wednesday. I believe I'm going to have a meeting on Wednesday with the administration, so we can kind of get a timeline of where we can open up the gym and do different things. I think if I read correctly, they're starting to think that maybe some departments in certain universities can start opening in terms of research and all that type of stuff. So I'm looking hopeful that this is going to happen very soon, and then we'll be able to get into the gym and start working. But at this present moment, I don't have a definitive date to when we can actually enter the GLC. And I know Nick feels the same way, but I missed the GLC.
I'm jealous of Jay's background right now.
Definitely. We want to be in there.
So I think if research is the first thing that's going to get back going, Nick, it's going to be incumbent upon you as the one of the leaders on the team to develop that research project proposal to get in, so you guys can under the guise of research, you can get into the gym.
Sure.
So Jay, I'm going to turn it over to you. I know you probably have a couple more questions for Coach and for Nick, but this was fun. And Nick, good to see you. I know you're in town, but we're all not straying too far from the doorstep, so I haven't seen you in a while. So good to see your face, and thanks for getting on here today.
For sure. Good seeing you.
Hey, Nick, we were talking last week when Devin was on. He's in Ottawa, and we were talking to coaches. Have you had the chance at all to shoot it all outside anywhere with? I know it's still cold, but have you had the chance at all?
Yeah, so luckily Anna McRae or wherever, the elementary school's right here, and they still have hoops and stuff up. So I just go over there like as many times as I can during the day and just shoot outside. But yeah, the weather's been something. But I miss ball too much. Even if it's snowing, like it's still doing. Like I'm still going over there with my jackets and my gloves and just getting up shots. Miss it too much.
I think I saw you over there last week, actually, Nick.
And Nick, one question I have, and I was talking to your mom about a month ago, just after the season ended, and I asked her, and she said she had no clue. What's with the blonde hair?
Just gotta spice it up once in a while. Try something new. Live life a little. I couldn't really tell you.
And Coach, Kevin had mentioned, him and Mike touched base on it during the season. One fault against Nick is there's no passion there when he's on the court, right?
Well, listen, Nick is a very passionate individual, and I like it. Well, like I said, I love guys that you have to reel in instead of motivate, and and same with Nick and me, Nick and Devin. We're kind of the same. When we get on the court, we don't want to lose at all, and sometimes we get extremely passionate. But one thing is you need it, and then it's just to get them to focus on certain details as well. And he's gonna be all right, especially this upcoming year with the role he's gonna have. And we kind of had a small discussion about it, where we were kind of I kind of used the analogy of Riley driver. So I said, Nick, you know what? I'm about to give you the keys, but I'm gonna be sitting right beside you. I'm gonna show you where we're gonna go, but you know you got to maintain your focus to bring us to destination, and you know don't go erratic because you know we'll fly off somewhere, and I'll be right there beside you. So I think he understood this analogy because I can see him kind of smirking and everything, but he knows what I mean. Like, be passionate. Let's go fast. Let's do our thing. Let's reach our goals, but let's stay focused on, you know, staying on the road and getting to destination.
So Kev, when coach talks about giving the keys, the two of them, like say, not being married, we know what that's like, right? We have the keys, but unfortunately we get controlled sometimes, right?
Yeah, you might have the keys, but that doesn't mean the navigator's not in your ear.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's something again being a veteran, and we talked with Devin and we talked to Vince and Steve along in the last couple of weeks. Coach has added a little bit more height in that, and with you and Vince being the taller on the team, is that taking a little bit more pressure off of you guys, bringing in a few more guys with height like you and Vince?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's the first time I've been here that we can actually have 4, 5, 6 guys that are 6'5" and above, and we can start putting out lineups that are massive. And coach can, if he wants to, put me down to the 2-3, and we can have some just size that's not really shown in the league. And just, I think that's just going to help so much for like me, like every day in practice versus the last couple of years, because I consider myself more of a guard. So like going against smaller guys, it's kind of different versus going against guys my size and like that can actually just bang with me every day, and just I gotta like take hits day after day and day, like, and that's just gonna make me so much better. So I'm actually really happy with the size coach is bringing in and the things that we can do with it.
And it takes a little bit of pressure off of you guys too, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially like me, like after like if I'm playing the 4-5, like for a majority of the game, it can get kind of tiring because you're just all game just you're more focused on maybe like rebounding, and defensively just you're getting hit. And so then when I get down to the offensive end, it's like, okay, now I gotta try to turn it up again. Versus now, if I'm the 2-3, I can kind of just focus more on, I can let the other guys just bang and stuff, and I can just kind of not take the pedal off and just kind of chill, but like it does kind of just mentally just kind of like you're almost like fresher, even though you may not be.
And one question is, most of the guys have gone home. You still being in Sault Ste. Marie, not going home, is that a little bit harder during these times?
For some reason, for me, I'm just okay with it. I don't know why. I've been up here the last 2 years, 2 summers, because like I said, like my goal is to go pro. So I talk to my family. They understand. Like I'm okay with it. They check in on me. I'm fine. And so nothing's really changed for me. I know it might be affecting some other people. But yeah, I'm doing all right, and it just sucks that this is all going on, because I'd be in the gym every day with coach trying to get better, trying to work on things, but it's just put a pause on that. But it is what it is.
And coach, you've been talking about your players about training and that. Have you been keeping up with your P90X?
Definitely be keeping up. I'm looking skinny. I mean, even some of the stuff that I was wearing before, look how loose it looks loose. I'm like, hey, you know, and I'm close to actually being the weight that I was when I was playing basketball way back in high school. So yeah, definitely I'm doing that, and then I even put it in my calendar that I gotta do this every day now. I mean the health part of it and being so light, I had forgotten that feeling. So yeah, I'm keeping up with the training as well.
You're not the only one, coach, who's forgotten that feeling.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I forgot the feeling. I haven't been doing it, but I forgot the feeling.
Yeah. I got a slight variation on the P90X, Jay. I know you subscribe to this program with me. It's the P90 fridge.
Yeah. If I can
Well,
reach
I'm glad.
Sounds
Go
like a
ahead.
great program.
I'm glad you guys are keeping in shape, because Jay and I get to sit behind a desk next season, so that's fine.
Yeah, it's like my wife, she wanted to start back in today, and she goes, honey, you joining me? I'm like, no. I look over, I had to move my office downstairs because my older son's working with the lottery corp now, and he's working from home, and so I had to move my office in the basement. And I come down here this morning, and she goes, here's all my candy, here's all my chocolate. Thanks, honey. There's my workout.
Priorities. She's going with the priorities now.
Yeah, it shows you where. But again, you only live once. That's the way I look at it. It's pandemic. You guys are the ones who have to keep in shape, not me and Kev.
Hey, I want to get back to the hair thing. So I got two questions. Coach, is a Nick Gehlen hairstyle in the future for you? We'll start there.
You know what? Even though I like his hair, and you know I kind of teased him a little bit, calling him Silver when he came in, but no, that's not for me.
Hey, Kev, can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Coach, can I call you out and say you make the playoffs, you'll do it?
Ooh.
You know what? I'm not gonna take that bet because in my mind, there's a very, very good chance that we might make the playoffs. So I'm not gonna put myself in that situation.
So part two of this is, Nick, how much pressure is on you as the MVP from the past season, coming off a long line of great hair at Algoma U, past winners being Nathan Riley, maybe the best hair in the league when he played. How much pressure is on you to step up your hair game?
With watching The Last Dance and watching Dennis Rodman, I don't know, might have to go a little more crazy, but no, I'm
all right. Stay tuned.
Yeah, I'll probably just gonna go back to normal. Gotta keep it a little sane.
So there's their tattoos and nose rings coming next, Kev.
Uh-oh.
Whatever it takes to be successful, right, Nick?
If that's what it takes.
We'll hold them to that, Coach. We'll hold them to that.
Yep.
So, guys, again, I can't thank you enough. And Nick, last question I always ask guys is, or people who are on the show is, who would you like to give a shout out to? I know your dad's watching, but who would you like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, shout out my mom, shout out my dad, shout out my stepmom. Those three have been great for me. They've supported me, come out to my games when they can, and I love them for that, and I appreciate it. Mother's Day was yesterday, so I'll just say it again. I love you, Mom. I love you, Jen. I love you, Dad. I'll just throw you in there too. Shout out all my friends, everyone that's helped me, whether it be old coaches, anybody. If you're along for this ride, I appreciate it. If you help me anyway, I appreciate it, and looking forward to bright things in the future.
And one question I did with Ryan Hunter, we had him on the other day with my other show, is from the NFL, and I asked him, is in the dressing room, biggest practical joker?
From last year, Daniel for sure.
You agree, Coach?
Yes, I can tell that Daniel would be the kind of comedic guy that's gonna make everyone laugh in the locker room for sure. Yeah.
Funny guy.
Biggest motivator?
Oh, Vince or Steven. And Devin. I'm gonna say all three of them. Been
Coach,
great.
you agree?
Motivator? Yeah, definitely. These three guys, I mean, they will motivate you, and they won't let you rest. They'll really go out there and motivate you to be better.
And last one is somebody who you don't even know is in the dressing room when you're in there.
Probably me, honestly. I'm just chilling, doing my thing.
Coach, what were your thoughts?
I know it'd be between Nick and probably Josiah. Probably those two.
Josiah. Yeah.
Yeah, those two guys.
You notice he
you
didn't
have
say
to
coach,
look.
eh?
It didn't say Coach. Are you talking about Michael or Aaron?
I don't know. The coaching staff, I think when we're in there, we actually, we take our space. We make a little noise, We don't go in there too often, but when we're in there, everybody knows we're in there. And
most when you do post game with them, Kev, it's usually 5 5-6 minutes post game. Coach could be on there for half an hour before he even makes it to the dressing room post game, isn't it?
Yeah, guys are already showered, changed. They're halfway home. Coach is dragging them back for the post game talk when we get them on the mic. But that's
Yeah.
okay. We like hearing from them.
Yeah, except for Nick and Vincent, they're back out on the court.
That's right. Yeah, they're already in the gym working out.
Yeah. So, guys, I can't thank you enough for taking the time, and Nick again taking the time today. And we'll be next week, and we'll announce in the next day or so who our guests will be next week. And thanks, Nick, and thanks, Kevin. Thanks, ATN, for taking the time again today.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, thank you.